man, these guys are really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this guy.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Greetings! Welcome to The Good, the Pod, the Ugly, a film podcast where we compare movies to get a better understanding of a filmmaker's style and sensibilities. Probably a few other S's as well. This is your host, Thomas.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're joined in the bunker this week with Shannon. Welcome back, Shannon.
Hey
Shannon.
there, guys. What's up?
And this season, what are we at? 16. Wow. Loyal listener over here, Shannon. We're covering the filmography of James Gray, and we are on the back end of it, the fifth of his 8 movies, pairing We Own the Night this week with next week's Lost City of Z.
I'm making a face.
Yeah, slow claps also, or mild applause could also stand in. So I don't know if you know this, Shannon, but Ken and I are watching all these movies for the first time.
Okay.
Ryan's seen some James Gray. We're covering James Gray because he's a Gen Xer director that seems to like not have a lot of not the same type of notoriety or while he might have the same acclaim, he might not have the same success as an Aronofsky, which you were on the Mother episode, if I remember right.
Yes, correct.
And nor is he anywhere of the Christopher Nolan, like I'm maintaining cinema by having films come out during the pandemic level of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any of his 8 films?
It turns out I have. Well,
okay.
I mean, I have now for this podcast, but it turns out I'd seen one previous. So, and I didn't know that till this morning. Because when I tried to watch The Lost City of Z.
When you tried to watch it
last night, I came away thinking like, man, these guys are really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this guy.
Wow. Wait. So we do reactions at the end of the podcast still. I know whenever we cut your whole part out of the Terminator episode, because you said some wild January 6th stuff about time travel and the necessity of the overthrow of the government.
Still stand by
that. Yeah. So that's why we started doing the responses at the end.
I know, but I'm building a narrative.
Okay.
So then this morning I looked at Wikipedia because I wanted to do my due diligence before we recorded. And I said, oh, I guess this guy's done some other movies, including Ad Astra, which I've heard of, but not seen. And then Two Lovers, which I have seen.
What? Really?
Yeah. And I loved it. I thought that was a good movie.
Okay.
All right.
So that's my experience with him, is now knowing that he's not just a hack.
Wow.
I didn't enjoy, but did make a movie I did enjoy once and has made many movies.
Whoa. Wow. So that's, I guess we kind of know where Shannon stands on these 2 films.
Spoiler for the next 2 hours of these 2 episodes.
No, I'm not just going to shit all over everything. That's just my general, I kind of, I said what I said.
And then Ryan, is Two Lovers one of the ones that you've seen?
No, it turns out the only 2 movies I haven't seen will be our final pairing, Two Lovers and The Immigrant.
Same year, if I remember right. Wow. Okay. Well, that's going to be an exciting episode pairing. This one will not be. So go ahead and skip ahead 2 weeks. So We Own the Night came out in 2007. Also, we've covered in 2007 Gone Baby Gone for Ben Affleck. Ostel. And National Treasure 2 Book of Secrets.
Woo. Boy.
That is this podcast that you're listening to. It's also the year that director, writer, political candidate Norman Mailer died.
Oh, who we covered. What season did we cover him in?
It was and actor.
Oh, Side Hustle. Side Hustle season. Yes. With one of the great Tough Guys Don't Dance.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the best movies ever made.
Ken, I know you're losing your voice, but I'm glad that you're using it so wisely.
Yes. Tough Guys Don't Dance. That's the last thing I'll say before I keel over dead.
So for your James Gray bingo card this week, you can go ahead and cover up the New York City square, the 80s square, the crime drama square, the dead mom square, the boob square, the son has to reconcile with an ambivalent father square, guys with bangs square, and Russians square. So if that gets you any closer to bingo, please write in at thegoodthepod@gmail.com.
I think we need to add a whisper square and a bummer square.
Oh, so much whispering.
Well, okay. This is the second of the 5 films, this being the 5th film that we've covered, second of the 5 films of James Gray's that made money. So in that sense, it's a successful film. Also, just like between The Yards and Little Odessa, there was a significant gap. According to the book that I got through interlibrary loan at the Monoma County Library.
Shout out.
Woo, shout out.
James Gray by the French publisher Synecdoche. The James Gray responds to that delay by this, by saying, well, The Yards was a disaster, and Harvey Weinstein made it his business to try and get me not to work.
Shannon, you, I'm not sure if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but you may or may not have heard of the phrase Harvey Scissorhands.
No, I haven't.
So before Harvey was known for his, repugnant and awful treatment of women for the last several decades, he was considered a real monkey's paw for independent directors, because he would pick up your film and release it if you made small indie art house movies. But about half the time he would re-edit a director's film without their consent. And even to the point where he would buy something that had already come out in Asia or in Europe and had been acclaimed, and before he would release it here, he would cut it up no matter what the director thought. So that happened at least a little bit with Gray on The Yards. So that might explain his animus there.
Okay.
So he was on the right side of Harvey Weinstein, unlike Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and all those guys.
Yes, and unlike the directors who had the Harvey Scissorhands experience, everyone that Ken just named, they were like Harvey's mascots, and he would not mess with their movies. He would let them do whatever they wanted. So
and they would let him do whatever he wanted.
I'm
sorry to laugh.
Yeah.
I don't. Off topic. Sorry.
We got to be careful for words there, I think, when we're talking about Weinstein. So Gray started writing this in 2000. He did some ride-alongs with cops in New York City, and he would finish writing it in 2002, and spent a whole year in development with Warner Brothers. But the person there who wanted to help produce it for him left. So in 2004, he tried to get it made. And during that period, Brad Pitt dropped out. So according to Wahlberg in the interview in the book, he and Pitt were originally supposed to be the cast. So eventually, after 2004, after that dropout, they would get Joaquin back and repair Joaquin and Wahlberg. They were together in The Yards, Shannon.
Yes, it's Joaquin. I don't know if
Joaquin? Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
I wrote it like that? Am I putting an M at the end of it?
It sounded like it. I didn't want you to sound so.
I call him Leaf in my head.
Yeah. Leaf Phoenix.
And so the reason that, according to Gray, there's 2 parts. He sees this as his third in his crime trilogy. So Little Odessa, then The Yards, and then this. And this one, he does something different because he goes to the police perspective. Unlike the Russian killer or the corrupt train official. The reason he put it in 1988, he says, is that was the highest murder rate in New York City. There is an asterisk or a footnote in the book that says, actually, because Gray says there were 2,300 murders in 1988, there were only 2,244.
Oh, come on.
And in
Gray.
1991, there were 2,571 murders.
Come on, Gray.
That was actually the highest year. Yeah. So I as soon as I read that, I had to reevaluate my understanding of the film and Gray's credibility.
It is weird to set it in 1988 because the only real hallmarks of the era, the only real hallmarks of the era featured in the film is the soundtrack, and almost all of those needle drops are from like 1978 to 1982.
Well, and they also start the movie with archival footage that seems older, or it's
like
hard
the
to tell the
70s,
period. Yeah, so that made it hard for me to understand what era the movie actually took.
Oh, do we need the Clash as a bingo card?
Oh, we should.
He fucking loves the Clash, man.
Yeah, it's one of his most endearing qualities.
So great for, I guess, people bumped up against many things in this film, that being one of them. And Gray's defense and the audio commentary, which you can get on the Blu-ray, which is available through the Multnomah County Library.
Woo!
Shout out.
As soon as I return it. Gray says that people don't listen to the music necessarily of their era that's coming out right then, especially if they want to listen to stuff that puts them into a certain mood or have a certain amount of enjoyment. And so it makes sense that Joaquin Phoenix's character in this, Bobby Green, would listen to music from his younger years, which is why you have like a Blondie song that opens it, if I remember right.
Oh, that actually makes total sense. Okay.
Well, it makes sense with the filmmaker. You're trying to set a scene for the audience, which, it's a little disconcerting.
That's true as well.
There is also scenes in their club where Blondie is playing, and those songs are still 4 or 5 years old. And if you're running the hottest club in Brooklyn, I just have a hard time believing you're playing 5 to 7-year-old music in there, As much as I love those Blondie songs.
Okay, well, let's not get stuck on that quite yet, I guess. This would be early for Eva Mendes, right? Same year as Ghost Rider, which we didn't cover. We covered Ghost Rider 2, but not Ghost Rider 1 during our Nick Cage season. But we did cover Bad Lieutenant Protocol.
Woo. New Orleans,
thank you. A full title. I was... And I guess this is also Mark Wahlberg. One of the reasons that it was also delayed in casting was that he wasn't available. I think he was doing The Departed. And so they had to wait for him to wrap up on that to be able to come in and do the few days that he could give to this project.
Wow. Those two movies really kind of wrap up his interesting actor phase, to my mind.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird is, so it's like there was a baton handed last week or last 2 weeks ago whenever we did the Yards. Wahlberg was the lead and Joaquin was supporting. And so they flip it in this. And it seems like that baton also shifts with M. Night Shyamalan, right? Because prior to this, Joaquin was in, I think, 2 M. Night movies.
Signs. And
there's the one with water,
The Happening.
The Happening.
Okay.
And then after this, you'll have Wahlberg in Night's films for...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wahlberg is in The Happening, not Phoenix.
One of the greatest bad movies ever made.
Yes.
It's in the plants, guys. It's in the plants.
I just have a quick proposal.
Okay.
What if we had, in this movie, we changed it so that instead of this Mark Wahlberg character, we had Dirk Diggler just come to the club and enjoy himself. And he and Bobby, they just have a great time, finger their girlfriends, do cocaine.
There is no cops. There are no cops.
No, we don't need any.
There's no shooting. There's no car chase.
Yeah. My takeaway from this
they just stay at the club.
Is a little cocaine that bad? Like everything the cops did just resulted in like grief.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So we just need a little Dirk Diggler.
Well, I think that might be Gray's intention for the film. And whether or not when we talk about reactions in Cannes and how it was booed, it can.
Oh,
yeah. I'm going to say it both ways, just like noir.
CanCon.
Yeah. Who wants to take a shot at the plot to this movie for those listener who hasn't seen it?
I would be happy to.
All right, Ryan. 3, 2, 1. Go.
All right. So Joaquin Phoenix plays Bobby Grusinsky. He runs Brooklyn's hottest disco in the mid to late 1980s. He runs the disco for a local Russian mobster. He doesn't know that the guy's a mobster, but he knows that he's a wealthy older Russian man. Phoenix is somewhat estranged from his family, who are all Irish cops. His brother, I guess they're not Irish with the last name of Grusinski, so they must be Polish.
Well, Phoenix is going under the last name Green, which is why nobody knows who his brother and father are.
Yes.
His mom's maiden name?
Yes. So he's that estranged from his family that he's changed his last name so that he can move in the nightlife scene without people being reminded of his family. Joaquin's brother, played by Mark Wahlberg, ascends to become captain in the local police department. And the first thing he does is raid Joaquin's bar. He's looking for a local prominent drug dealer who works out of the disco and bar that Joaquin manages. And that leads to a conflict in the family. But when the drug dealer shoots Mark Wahlberg in the face, nearly killing him, Joaquin's allegiances are tested, and he needs to choose whether he's going to stick with the criminal underworld folks who run his disco, or whether he's going to rejoin his family in an attempt to find and bring to justice his brother's attacker.
Yeah, Robert Duvall plays the daddy, and Eva Mendes plays the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the drug dealer out of his club is played by John Turturro-Whiskey.
That guy really has a look, man.
He does. He was great.
Yeah.
But Vadim, is that what his name is? Vadim?
Yeah.
Great name.
There's also a surrogate father figure.
What?
Who owns the club.
What? In a James Gray movie?
I know. Who's Russian?
Whoa.
Yes. Can you believe it?
Yeah. There's also a character I haven't seen in a James Gray film, which is the Danny Hawk character, Jumbo.
Oh, Jumbo's great. Yeah.
Yeah, his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it's Shrug.
Well, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert that he's his best friend. Well, we could spoil stuff.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Jumbo is a turncoat and was, sharing information about their whereabouts, right? Because then he beats him up at the end.
Given his name Jumbo, though, it's not surprising that he's kind of a Dumbo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what's wild to me is like his introduction is him interrupting an intimate moment between Joaquin and Eva Mendes, his characters, at the very beginning, and saying like, "Oh, there's women topless on the bar dancing," and it seems like he's supposed to be security or the bouncer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. I don't see him really lay hands on anybody or affect any type of
or do anything really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He brings the drugs to the party later.
Well, evidently he puts more tables on the upper level while Joaquin is hiding.
Yeah. If anyone is familiar with the New York nightclub scene of the late 70s through the late 90s, I think Jumbo's behavior and the whole way business at the club is conducted is fairly realistic. Starting with Studio 54, these massive discos were run by very morally ambiguous players. And everything was very cavalier. That's how come you have celebrities just openly doing cocaine and having mini orgies at Studio 54 all the time. It was very...
Oh, yeah!
That was a big part of the draw of these places, that you could get drugs and fuck around and dance topless on the bar and nobody would give a shit.
Very good. A lost era.
Yes.
The lost nightclub of Zed.
Yes.
I think one of the things that we wouldn't necessarily talk about on the pod, but is worth it for this episode or this movie, is production design. Mm-hmm. Because it's, you were talking about, he changed the club setting up upstairs and added more tables, but there's a lot of fun stuff in here that I found, like the cop, whenever the were you introduced to Mark Wahlberg and Duvall's characters, daddy and son cop fundraiser, what were they having at the church?
I think it was to celebrate Mark's promotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just call him Mark.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to be called Marky. I enjoy all the, like, how realistic that felt as far as all the foil dishes, and even the banner has like quotation marks around congratulations.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah,
good stuff.
Well, and it's
so
a real,
very handmade.
Yeah, and it's a real juxtaposition with the club too, which is very is a successful nightclub and has all the trappings of that. Great lighting and loud music and nice interior design. And so to juxtapose that with this cop celebration held at the VFA or whatever, VFW, is pretty stark.
And it's interesting, this is the second consecutive Grey movie where Wahlberg comes home from somewhere and has a little family party to celebrate it for completely different reasons. But
yeah,
almost like they could have just brought the same sign out, really.
And the police party has the same kind of chintzy quality as the grandmother's party in Little Odessa, where it's kind of like just a bunch of normal people taking over a venue and decorating it and bringing their own food and just hanging out. He is
really good at these scenes of community and family and parties happening and just choreographing the somewhat chaos around those events. He's really good with crowds of people in that circumstance.
That was my favorite thing about Armageddon Time was all the dinner scenes.
Yeah.
Where everybody's talking over each other. So there's some digital effects in this. I didn't catch it when I was seeing it, but I'm wondering if anybody saw where the biggest digital effect came in.
All right, so before we go into that, former co-host, longtime guest Jack said that he thinks the digital rain in this movie is the best use of CGI he has maybe ever seen.
Okay.
So, and I forgot all about that when I watched it, and then I was reading up on it, and I actually rewatched the sequence again. Yeah. It's pretty damn good.
I had no idea there was CG in any part of this movie.
Yeah, so Gray wanted, and I think when we get to reactions, we'll see why he says this proactively on the commentary, but he says that there is no such thing as, like, people are mistaken when they think about creativity and being a creative filmmaker, that really there's only so many stories you can tell, and there's only so many things you can have in your movie. And so he wanted to have a car chase that had things that hadn't been done before. And he's like, why don't we ever really see weather in a car chase?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of two things that he wanted in his car chase. It's a little dangerous to do that. Like he said that the two, and it's interesting to hear Gray talk about the filmmaking process, because his most uncomfortable times are shooting action sequences, because it's so by the storyboard to get each of your shots. So it feels very mechanical in a way that he doesn't appreciate. And then any type of intimacy scenes, because he feels bad for the actor in that scene. And so, well, and also the stunt people in action sequences, he's pretty concerned by. The dude who fell and hit on the fence during the Joaquin Phoenix jumping out of the stash house.
Yeah.
Got a little hurt.
Well,
really?
Well, if you can see, that's special effects as well, right? Like there's that was a composite of like 4 different shots.
It's an amazing scene.
I'm surprised he just was not dead after that.
Yeah, it's a horrible looking fall.
Yeah, and then during the car scene as well, they destroyed a camera accidentally, kind of like in French Connection, by 2 cars hitting each other, and you can see it in the film because they actually shot on film. That's not the reason why, but they actually shot on film, and you can actually see like right when the camera is starting to flip out of control because it's just struck another car.
Yeah, I watched that scene 3 times, and the only obvious trickery was like some color setting. There's 2 shots you could tell it's like day for night kind of shooting, where it's actually sunny and they're turning the blue filter up in the fake rain. But other than that, it is pretty darn good use of CGI to enhance something that you couldn't do practically.
For me, that whole set piece was one of the most harrowing action scenes I've ever seen, just as far as, it was exciting and well done, but for me, it was also very emotional, the way Joaquin Phoenix is in this car chase with these drug dealers who are trying to kill him, and then his dad shows up in his car, and the drug dealers pivot to trying to murder his dad. And it was just, very upsetting to watch.
Well, it keeps you like in his POV for most of it, like the people who get shot, like his dad. I mean, it's from his POV.
Yeah.
And it's really the distance from it makes it even scarier. Like mostly I think we're used to being in the car with the person who's shot, like the cop that gets shot before Duvall.
Well, yeah, I think all of that's a fantastic point, Ken. And it's also, so it's from Joaquin's character's POV, and Joaquin's character is not of this violent world at this point. So he's not a part of the Russian mob. He's not a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene to me really captures the feeling of a normal person being in this incredibly intense, violent situation and just freaking the fuck out.
Well, he barfs.
Yeah.
I wrote down grief barf because he just... Anyway,
I'm pretty sure there's some barfing in The Lost City of Z, but I didn't capture that as something that happens in both films. So that was the second thing that Gray said, was that he really wanted, like, in a car chase, you don't normally get the POV of the person embedded in it. And so that was the second thing that he wanted to do, which I would say is second to, I really enjoyed, it's not a reaction to the whole film, but the scene of Joaquin undercover, or not undercover, just with the wire on him going into the stash house. That, all the POV there, I thought was what you're talking about, Ryan. You really feel, for me as a viewer, I got the sense, and I was put into the perspective of somebody who, this is not de rigueur, right? This is not like what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Or just on
they also did a good job of showing how it just went completely sideways. You know, it wasn't some smooth process of.
I was surprised the cops were there when he needed them to be.
Well, he said the word, right?
Yeah. Feather?
Yeah.
Feather.
I'm light as I'm feeling light as a feather. Or
After the coke. Hey, did anybody, or was it just me, when as soon as they gave him the lighter, did you think, dude, if you have matches, get rid of them?
I saw that whenever he was using matches prior to.
Yeah, they totally
scene,
set it up, and I was like, oh, dude, throw them out.
Which makes me wonder if this has been used in a movie since, because as soon as I saw him using matches, I was like, oh, he has a lighter and matches. I've seen this before, but
that's a good.
Maybe
question.
not. Maybe I watched this film
maybe
at some point in the past and have since hit my head.
Do you guys have any excuses that you could give in that situation? Like how you'd explain having both?
Oh, for sure. Like I use one for my pipe and one for my cigarettes.
Dude, you were so fucking smart.
That's what I do.
But they're like, where's your pipe then? You know, produce.
I'm not going to carry drugs on me to a drug den.
There you go.
Yeah.
What are you, crazy?
Zippo fluid is okay. It doesn't impact the taste of cigarettes very much, but it does impact the taste of other things. So they're
oh my god, you guys would be so good at being an undercover.
Ken, are you trying to recruit us? Have you been I'm going to ask you 3 times quickly. Are you a cop? Are you a cop? Are you a cop? Legally now, dude, you got to tell us if you are.
I have to mute myself. Sorry.
So one of the things that Gray does, and I don't know if this is in Two Lovers or not, Shannon, but he seems to always want to bring family into his films. And sometimes that's forefront of like a child's kind of autobiographical story. In his most recent film, Edit Out the Pause, Armageddon Time. But he also incorporates it heavily and heartily into, especially like having brothers, into all of his films. Aside, I guess, from Ad Astra, it's just him going after his daddy. But these films, this film feels like the same formula as his previous 2 films to some degree. You take something that's genre and you take something that's melodramatic and you mash those 2 together.
And the one he just finished shooting.
Which we'll cover
in the future.
Some future date. Yeah. Not in the past.
No.
Who wrote this film?
Gray by himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There were a couple lines that I noted.
Oh, please.
That I thought
do you like that you started to use in your own life?
Well,
I'd rather be judged by. Go ahead.
So Robert Duvall, I can't remember the context. They're out on the back porch. It's when he's talking to Joaquin and Mark Wahlberg comes out, but he says, "Hey, you marry a chimp and you don't complain about the scent of bananas."
What?
And I thought that was.
Wait, what does that mean? I don't remember that.
I think, if you're in a situation, you've gotten yourself into it, you can't complain about what's natural in that situation.
I like the one about pissing yourself. Do you have that one?
No, but
when you piss in your pants, you can only stay warm for too long.
That's
I wrote
right.
that one down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then later he says, someone says, better to be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6.
Which I thought that I've heard multiple times as well.
I've never heard that before, but that was.
Oh, really?
I thought that was clever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Gray credits those, or at least that last line, but presumably the other ones, to hanging out with those cops on those ride-alongs that he did. And he was like, they just have like their own way of parsing out the world and talking about it. And I wanted to capture that in the film, which it sounds like successful-ish.
Yeah.
I thought they stood out as being more writerly and less natural dialogue. So I kind of chuckled and wrote them down.
Oh, okay. You bumped on those.
Well, actually, when he said you marry a chimp and you don't complain about the scent of, I thought he said an anus, like he said anus weird.
Okay.
And so I thought Robert Duvall says anus, and then I was thinking about a monkey's butt, and then I realized he said bananas, and then so I spent a lot of time on that.
I don't know if I can have bananas now, and I need them for the potassium.
So I was distracted by that.
One character or setting that we haven't talked about, and is on the bingo card, is the Russian fur importer. The
old guy?
The old guy.
Oh, yeah. They really present them as like a very harmless, family-oriented kind of...
Yes, Joaquin is in real denial about who his surrogate father, the club owner, really is. And it takes him very, very long time to figure out what's really going on there.
So do you think he's actively trying, like actively ignorant, or do you think the guy has just a really good cover?
Early on, when after the cops have first raided the club, the Joaquin talks to the club owner and asks about the Vadim, the drug dealing nephew, and why he operates out of the club. And the club owner acts like he's going to do something about it and then doesn't. And the Vadim is just back there the next night. And at that point, I would assume that them boys was in cahoots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but isn't that the same night that there's a raid and Joaquin gets the charcoal poured down his throat?
Yeah, that's before he talks to the...
Oh, it is. Okay.
Club owner about the drug dealing nephew. Yeah.
Do you know why they poured charcoal down his throat?
It's something that Gray saw during the ride along. 100%. Like that's why he's like, oh, I've never seen that before, and it's crazy looking. I'm going to do that. But the medical reason for deactivated or activated charcoal is that if somebody's on like methamphetamines or another upper, it's a way of calming them down. It's supposed to absorb some of
it doesn't seem like it calmed him down at all.
That's why he needed it.
He seems quite livid.
It's a quick detoxification process. And yeah, I mean, I think the cops did that to Joaquin, knowing that he didn't actually need it. And they just did it to fuck up his body and make him feel awful and embarrass him in front of his clientele.
Yeah, and
exactly.
It was effective.
And I also think that James Gray, a little bit like wanting to put Brad Pitt, after probably fucking him over on multiple movies, up on wires for months on end in Ad Astra, he probably wanted to just pour something down Joaquin's throat at some point. It sounds like this is the stage where Joaquin Phoenix is considering giving up acting and just doing his musical career, and is very method. And it's fun to like hear the difference between him and Wahlberg on the film, where Wahlberg's like, what do you want me to do? I can do that. Just like a dog lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? Like a dog lawyer. Dog loyal is what I meant to say.
Dog lawyer.
Man.
Woof, woof.
Yeah.
Woof, woof.
Monkey anus. So, whereas Joaquin seems to really want to talk about everything and be in the role and be addressed, and will fuck with like Robert Duvall in the middle of the night in a scene just to get reactions from people. But one thing that he did do to flip the tables, Gray did, is that he told during that scene, wherever we find out that his best friend's a turncoat, whenever he takes Jumbo outside to talk to him, Gray told Danny Hawk, hey, in the scene it's written that you just kind of like fold. Don't do that. Withhold. Like, you're not going to tell him. And so a lot of that scene is Joaquin, I guess, improvising and being violent in a way that he wasn't expecting to.
Because he really wanted to get the information.
Because he really wanted to get the information for the scene to work. Yeah.
But poor Danny, because he's getting whacked a bunch.
Uh-huh.
He probably wasn't.
Well, he knew, I think he was in on it, and I think that's maybe part of his performance art. I'm not 100%.
Jeez.
But just for the record, I love Joaquin Phoenix. That's how I know how to say his name correctly.
I think that this might be his best movie hair that I've seen. He has great hair in this movie.
I mean, he had good hair in the yards.
He did. I would say this is even better, though. He had some. This might be the handsomest Joaquin performance I've seen.
Whenever he becomes a provisional cop, though, it'd be great, kind of like Samson, if he had to get like a haircut.
His hair buzzed off.
So he looks even dumpier. But yeah, his clothes are ill-fitting, and he's given up on his old life.
Well, because the spark does go out of his eyes, so I suppose he shouldn't have cool hair.
That's a good point.
Is that the rule? If you go into like a beautician or a barber,
if you
they check your eyes first, whether that's going to qualify for how good of a haircut you get.
Just buzz it off. Spark is gone.
All right. Did we cover all the scenes so far?
We haven't talked about the grassy area at the end where they try to smoke out the bad guys.
Yes, the wheat field.
Or they're wearing camo that is distinctly a different color than the grass. Not super useful.
But do you think they should have prepared better? It's 1987. This is before we get the full militarization of the police force. They're just bumbling around out there.
True. Just saying, they weren't very well camouflaged. That's my note.
Okay, fund the police is what Shannon's saying. And that I think that took place in like a Brooklyn airport, or like there's a small airfield out in Brooklyn, if I remember right. But that is on location. And he did say that it felt, some people maybe said that he was ripping off the French Connection by having a drug deal out in a remote area.
Do you know what they were doing with the fur?
Yeah.
The water, the fire, turning into drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah? What?
Whoa, you haven't smuggled a bunch of drugs, have you?
I just thought they showed that without a lot of comment, but it's not something I was aware was possible.
Got it. Yeah. You can make cocaine into fibers.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also just have it as part of like a residue on the coats. And so they were soaking it out of the coats and then distilling it from the water, separating it from the water by cooking it.
It looked pretty crazy to the drug dealer eyes.
Yeah.
Of mine.
I think it's reminiscent. I think it's Steven Soderbergh's Traffic, where they make toys out of cocaine and then they dip it in the water and it becomes cocaine again when it comes in the country. That was the first thing that my cinephile rotted brain thought of.
Yeah, and I was upset because whenever I got toys like that when I was a kid, it was like a sponge that grew bigger and had no cocaine. And I put it in water.
And I burned it in a spoon.
I ruined a lot of toys thinking that they were cocaine.
The one scene that kind of stuck out for me, just as far as production, and I'm glad that it's there, but it seemed like the movie had a bigger budget than what it did when all of a sudden it happened, was Duvall at a boxing ring. Like we don't get any comment about that prior, really, aside from there's some like shadow boxing that Wahlberg does during the buffet or his honor.
Mm-hmm.
But that he's there whenever he gets the news was a great piece of setting for like a scene that could have been handled at the police station or anywhere else.
It's a good character grace note. Now we're 40 minutes in. We got to get to reactions. We got 4 people here. I want to hear Shannon first because she doesn't seem like doesn't like the the whispery bummer stylings of James Gray.
I'm going to do a little bit of the layup. So here's 3 reactions to it. Okay, one's from Wikipedia, from Rolling Stone. They said it's defiantly, refreshingly unhip, giving it 3 out of 4 stars. Okay. In this Gray book, Wahlberg says, while The Yards was very operatic, I think that in We Own the Night, James was willing to have a little more color and energy in the scenes. And then the third is a reaction also in this is by Gray, not Wahlberg. In the book, he says, responding to the reaction of the film's reception at Cannes, it was a bit of a shock to the system. that doesn't mean I expected to win awards, but I didn't expect to be booed.
Yeah, I find that very surprising.
So we could talk about why all that might be, but how'd you feel about it, Shannon?
Oh, well, I did not boo it.
No?
Yeah, no, I thought it was B- if I was to give it a letter grade. It seemed a little obvious to me, just some of the notes. Like when they got in the car and then they were going to, the caravan of doom, I called it, when they had the car crash. Like it was so obvious that it was going to go badly. And then, my whole takeaway was, I don't think drugs are that bad. And I feel like the cops really caused a lot of grief and the war on drugs was a failure. So I kind of feel like he should have just stuck with his original life. We didn't talk about the last line of the movie.
I love you.
I love you too. They whisper at each other without a lot of energy. There's a lot of whispering, a lot of low energy dialogue.
Yeah? Was that hard? Did you watch it with subtitles?
No.
Yes, it would have been helpful
with the bananas. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't love it. I thought Joaquin was great, though. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Yeah, one of the things that Gray actually responds to in this book is he says, the two brothers say, I love you, because it's the appropriate thing for them to say. But actually, Bobby's life is ruined. I clearly didn't communicate that well because the picture showed at con and people thought it was a pro-cop movie.
Yeah.
Really?
I was going to say propaganda,
I
but
do think it was a little ambiguous. It kind of seemed as if him basically ending up lonely and in this joyless institution was somehow the point of the movie. But if that wasn't, then unclear. Okay, that's my take.
Okay, Mike now goes to Ken.
Well, the propaganda thing, because I've since 2020, I've been really keyed in on that, and I really like the ambivalence towards this being propaganda or not. I don't think it falls on either side, and I really appreciate that from Gray. I like this movie. Like Shannon said, a lot of the stuff that happens, there's not a real treasure trove of surprises that happen when a sequence starts. You kind of know where it's going. But I like the way he handled all of them. I think the set pieces are great. I think the going to the drug den, the car chase, the shootout at the end, I think he handles it all great. And I don't think there was a lot I bumped up against. But mostly this is just, it's like a meat and potatoes movie. But it doesn't veer too far into making the cops as the heroes. And like Shannon said, like a lot of Gray movies, the protagonist just did nothing. A lot of people would still be alive. And this goes to Ad Astra and then the movie we talk about next week.
No, in Ad Astra, he has to save the whole world. We forget about that, but everybody's going to die if he doesn't do his thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he had other choices, but that's...
He could have let the astronauts go do it? Maybe.
Yeah. We don't know that the other astronauts who were tasked with that mission would have failed. And so, then to Ken's point, there's half a dozen astronauts that would still be alive if Pitt hadn't gone on his solo adventure.
Yeah, let's not talk about Ad Astra, though.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you think, Ryan.
This is far and away my favorite of his crime films. I like The Yards a lot, but I like this one even more. I thought it was a very compelling inversion of The Godfather, where, of course, in The Godfather, Al Pacino is estranged from his mafioso family until his dad gets shot, and then he comes back into the fold. And even though he's not a mafioso, it turns out that he's actually better at running the crime family than any of his brothers who stayed in this environment their whole lives. And it turns him into a bitter, hollow man who ruins his family. And I thought that was very similar to Joaquin's journey here.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a tragedy. I thought it was the opposite of propaganda. I thought it was very clear that the cops are just as bad as the drug dealers, if not, to your point, Shannon, perhaps worse. And the ending shootout in the wheat field, which again I thought was a reference to take the cannolis, leave the gun scene in The Godfather. At the beginning of that shootout, they've tracked the drug dealers to their den where they're doing crime. And as soon as the shooting starts, Wahlberg, who was the tough guy, captain of the police, falls on his face and has basically got PTSD from being shot earlier in the film. and is incapable of doing this tough guy shit that's needed at the end of the movie. Meanwhile, Joaquin, who seemed like was trying to be a dandy boy the whole movie, he's chasing the drug dealers through this wheat field. He shoots the villain ultimately and kills him, and he feels nothing, at least nothing bad about that. And so when he graduates from the police academy at the end, and that I love you scene, I think there's kind of a silent acknowledgement that Joaquin is actually the natural born cop who's meant to live this life, and Wahlberg, who's going to go to desk duty after his fainting on the field of battle. He knows now that he is not the tough guy, and this is not his world that he finds himself in. So there's that unsteady tension between the two of them, and with the world at large, because Joaquin's going to turn into this monster, presumably, and Mark Wahlberg, who desperately wanted to be a monster, is just left sitting on the sidelines.
Wow. Well done, Ryan.
Thank you.
I think the interesting, when I said the end of Mark Wahlberg's interesting era as an actor, there's zero chance in 2026 he would take a role where he collapses right before the climactic shootout.
Yeah. He who would have stopped 9/11 had he simply been aboard the plane. Yeah. And for me, this is actually, I like films that Joaquin has been in for the last 15 years or whatever since this came out. But this is the last role of his I'm seen where I enjoy his acting. He just bounces off me with the fussed over roles that he's played since, even if I love The Master and some of these other films. He just, I find him to be very unpleasant to watch.
Oh my gosh, now. Ryan. What are you talking about?
Why don't you make like a Joaquin and Leaf?
If he wasn't the favorite actor of all these auteurs that I love, then I wouldn't see his pictures anymore. But ironically, most of the directors I love seem to love working with him. So
have you seen Beau is Afraid?
Yes. And Ari Aster, the director of that, is one of my very favorite directors. His Midsummer is top 5 for me. And Beau is Afraid is fine.
Have you guys all seen Eddington?
Yeah.
That's
I haven't seen that one yet. I need.
You haven't seen Eddington?
No, the subject matter. It's been a difficult year in the Tobias household, and the subject matter, I'm worried is going to fray my nerves a little bit. So I've been putting it off.
It's too bonkers for that, I think. But who knows? You'll watch it when you're ready.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Ovaries to the cloveries? What?
Ovaries to the bovaries.
Anyhow, I don't know. I was just thinking you were going to tell them to man up and watch it.
Oh, no, I think you got to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
In these trying times.
And I think that's also, I guess, Gray's ethos at some level. Like, this is, I'm going to say it, my favorite of his films so far.
Wow.
And it doesn't mean that I
You've been pretty lukewarm on his other stuff.
But I have. I think this is whenever I've mentioned like he's trying like drive in 2 different lanes. Like I think he finally figures it out for me for this one because there's a lack of judgment about these characters. The story doesn't necessarily call for a side, and there is a sense of like life isn't fair, and there's like a certain amount of fate that I think that Gray wants to imbue. That actually make like he's able to do that in this film. And it's interesting to me that people read it as propaganda when it does seem like, I mean, it's not disparaging of the police as an institution, but really it's the ruin of one guy's life.
Yeah.
Well, the whole family, really.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I can totally see people thinking that a lot of the set pieces and some of the stuff that you were talking about with the plot, Shannon, I can see those things as coming off as predictable. For me, it was like triggered a dread, the dread of inevitability, kind of to what Thomas is talking about, where there's kind of, as soon as Wahlberg ascends, the whole family is put on this path where that's going to end in tragedy and destruction, you know?
Yeah. And obviously it's heavily indebted with the French Connection, which is another movie, a great American movie, not another great American movie, but a singular great American movie where nobody comes away with that thinking, you know what, being a police officer looks kind of fun. I'm going to go join up today. And I don't think he gets to that degree of it just seeming morally odious, but there's nothing about it that seems fun.
And I feel for his surrogate father, even though he is duplicitous, right? But there's something about that actor who's an Israeli actor who's pretty, I guess, had just done a movie that was extremely popular. That is how he was able to Gray was able to find him and bring him over. Apparently that actor is extremely charming and speaks no Russian. And Gray didn't realize that until they were about to start to shoot, like the day of.
Did he ask him?
I don't think he did. I think he just assumed that he knew how to.
He's Israeli. He's not Russian.
I know. Unlike Yelena Solovey, who plays his wife, who's always cooking. But I enjoyed like seeing his presence on screen whenever he eats the eye of the fish. Like it feels like he does feel like he has some type of moral concerns about betraying the Phoenix character.
Well, he's very gentle.
Yeah.
Or a Russian mobster.
He's very different than the other Russians in the film.
Like that big meatball of a guy.
That big meatball of a guy with the bangs is an MMA fighter, like the champion in Russia for many
you
years.
know what? I thought he looked like an MMA fighter. Has he been in another movie?
I'm not 100%, but his name's Oleg Taktarov, and he apparently scared the shit out of Joaquin whenever, like, just throughout the day. And like he would show up on set, and Gray, if you've ever listened to Gray, especially like on a commentary track, he does impersonations of everybody who, whenever they're talking.
Yeah.
So he does this great impersonation of them saying, I'm not going to do it well, but like, who do you want me to fight today? Like he's like every time he would show up, instead of like asking like, what do you want me to do? He was just like, who do you want me to fuck up?
Sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah. He's in Bad Boys too.
He's in Miami Vice and Den of Thieves, Ken. We're really falling down on the job here.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sick, so that's my excuse. Okay, so he's been in a lot of movies I've seen before.
Yeah.
Good ones, too. It sounds like he's got a good filmography.
Yeah, and I don't know why I didn't recognize him at all, considering my love of Miami Vice and my like of Den of Thieves.
Yeah, I think, like what you were saying, Thomas, of his first three films, it's the pincer movement that we do is so interesting, because I thought Armageddon Time is still my favorite of his. But seeing these first three movies paired with his later films, you could really see his progression and his control over character and tone and place through his first three films, which are all crime films that are very, very similar.
Yeah, actually, this is maybe the first time where I feel like the pincer movement isn't necessarily the best way to take in his filmography, because it does seem to be such a clear evolution from Little Odessa to We Own the Night, and then Lost City of Z to Ad Astra.
There's something to de-evolution, though.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten into the gooey middle of The Immigrant and Two Lovers. Yeah. So we're not sure what's going to happen there in the middle of this turnstile, as it were. Trademark. Fuck off, Nolan. I think I would, and unlike the other films so far, I would watch this again, and I could recommend it to somebody, especially for the Stash House set piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time you get there, there's enough character work that it has a strong emotional resonance. But even just watching it by itself, it is an amazing series of environments and shots and strange characters. He said like he just wanted people to have questions about what was going on and set a tone. So you get the dude with the back tattoo, you get the guy with the weird eye, the playing cards of stuff that he had seen for cutting up drugs, probably in a bunch of other movies, but also apparently on his ride along.
Yeah.
And the amount of like just how deep it is into his point of view is amazing, all the way up until jumping onto that fence.
Yeah.
And he said that he takes the Kurosawa from one of the Kurosawa films. I think it might be the adaptation of Macbeth, which one that one was.
Throne of Blood.
Throne of Blood, where there's like a moment where somebody emerges from or goes into the darkness that he uses in the hallway there, along with like miking the Russian dude closer, so he'd have like a weird reverb and bass on his voice and make it dreamlike during the sequence. So there's like just like a whole lot of fun technical stuff going on in that scene.
Yes,
and it pays off, and it's not just For me, I mean, you seem skeptical, Shannon.
No, I thought it was a good scene.
Oh, okay.
I think one of Gray's strengths in all these movies we've watched is his ability at world building, of making all the characters seem like they're part of a wider world. I know you bumped up against some of it with Ad Astra, Thomas, but even when it takes place in the real world, like this one, it all feels like the apartments they go to, the hotels they go to, and all the locations. They feel like those people could really live there, and that's not necessarily an easy thing to do.
I have a question. I would love to get Shannon's point of view, but I guess it's mostly for Thomas and Ken at this point. Do you feel like you would have liked this one as much if we hadn't watched Little Odessa and The Yards first?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it. I think I would find it probably a B+, B-, whatever Shannon rated it as. Did you end up watching this before or after Lost City of, however much of Lost City of Z?
I watched this movie last week, so before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I actually was more excited about Lost City of Z because I'd seen the other one. We'll talk about that at some other point.
Yeah, I feel like his style, Gray's style, is enough kind of out of time that I really enjoy all of his movies a lot more, having seen them in such close proximity to each other. I feel like he's had to teach me how to watch his movies. Upon originally seeing Little Odessa, The Yards, and We Own the Night as they were released, I very much felt the way you did, Shannon, where I thought it was a little better than mediocre. All of his movies were a little bit better than mediocre, except for Little Odessa, which I thought sucked. And now, for whatever reason, I really like all three of these films. And We Own the Night, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I would say it's a great movie. You know,
I think it's aged really well.
Yeah.
It just looks great. And, you know. Yeah.
What do you think about the title? The title feels a little generic to me.
I wish so. At the beginning, when we get those stills of the cops, you see one is wearing a
badge.
Yes, a sleeve hit that says "We own the," NYPD. We own the night, and has a skull
it has a history
and crossbones. But there are several things in this movie that, and in kind of all of Gray's movies, there are these little tidbits which I think are really relevant to the overall story that he doesn't put a fine enough point on. I think we should have seen that badge again with the We Own the Night. It would have been great if one of the cops said it during the club scene or some other scene where they're all being real assholes. So I love the title. I wish it was a much bigger part of the movie.
You mean like one of them says, a criminal, don't forget We Own the Night, and then he slowly looks at the camera.
Or the big celebration at the end takes place at like medieval times, and they're betting, and he's like, "No, it's cool, man. We got this. We own the night."
Yeah. I would hope it would have been handled more gracefully than either of those scenarios, but I think there was a way to recall the title, which, to me just is very compelling title.
It is kind of generic, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the one thing you have to grant for me, more so than any of the lines that Shannon bumped up against, I have to like just grant the movie and be like, okay, I believe this. And I'm not sure if it's handled well afterwards, is the name change. Right? That he's going by his mom's last name for some reason to keep away from the cop, like his brother and dad are cops. Which makes him seem quasi-criminal to start, and maybe a little bit more of that would have been nice.
Well, I think he was more trying to keep his reputation on the, criminal side clean because he didn't want to be associated with cops.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I thought maybe if he could earn that a little bit more if he was dealing like a small-time dealer or something else a little bit larger than just having a different last name. But the whole reason that he is not immediately murked is that the Russian mob doesn't understand that he is related to the people that they're killing. They're on their hit list, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which makes sense and is fine, but it is really convenient that he has a different last name. And then at the end that he changes his last name back to Grusinsky, or whatever it is, seems a little much.
Oh, did you think so?
Yeah, that he's like honoring his dad or something by changing his last
my
name.
guess is that he just told people he went by Bobby Green. He never changed his name. Like, none of these criminals are looking at his driver's license.
That's what I thought whenever they took out his wallet, the Zippo and the matches. I thought they were just going to look at his ID and be like, "Oh, we set up you to think that he was going to get caught for the Zippo and the matches," but really they just looked at his last name on his ID.
Right.
Well, it's not like the Russian mob has a list of names memorized of notable New York City cops.
Or do they?
Or do they? You like pull out a little scroll, say, "Hold on a second."
I mean, because that guy with the ponytail was very evil. Like, he's like, "I'm gonna I killed your brother. I'm gonna kill your dad." Like,
yeah,
steal drugs for me. Like, he was really quite super villainous.
Yeah,
great villain.
Yeah, with Steven Seagal ponitail and all.
Yes. It has multiple rubber bands on it.
Oh, actually, it was longer, wasn't it? Yeah,
okay. It was very ornate.
I can understand the name stuff bumping for you, Thomas, but again, I thought it was like the final scene of The Godfather where Pacino's sitting in Brando's desk and the door closes on Kay. It's like this has sealed his fate as he's going to be a cop for the rest of his life, and he's going to conduct himself in that way instead of being Good Time Charlie with the dance club.
Yeah. So do you think that Eva Mendes in the crowd during his valedictory police academy graduation and him saying "I love you" to his brother is kind of the same thing as closing the door?
Yeah, and it's actually not even Mendes. He looks out into the crowd and thinks he sees her, and then it turns out it's somebody else entirely. And that's yes, I think those two moments together are the closing the door on his other life.
Yeah. And very enthusiastically telling Mark Wahlberg, "I love you," which might be probably the most enthusiastic Mark Wahlberg's ever heard that without a cash transaction involved.
Oh yes, I mean, I never thought I was a Wahlberg guy, but the Yards and We Own the Night make me really lament.
Good.
Yeah,
I wish he had kept going. I wish he had kept going down that instead of becoming a brand. It's very disappointing.
Yeah,
he's great.
Well, this isn't going to be our last Joaquin, and that's not just a hint that we're going to maybe cover Parenthood next season. But he'll be in our next two pairings.
Yeah.
So he was in the movie you saw, Two Lovers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he'll also be in The Immigrant. I think
Two
they had a
Lovers
mascara budget that exceeded the squib budget of this film.
Yeah, I think next week we are going to do The Lost City of Z, which I think The Immigrant is I mean, all of his movies are kind of period pieces, but a period piece that goes way into the past. The Immigrant, Ad Astra, and Lost City of Z are kind of form a trilogy unto their own, I think. And Two Lovers, I have no idea. It's supposed to be his best movie. It's like a relationship movie, right? We should all guess at what the movie's going to be before we watch it.
I remember the previews, so I think I kind of know what it's about.
So Ryan's out.
Yeah.
He can't participate, but Thomas,
and I've seen it, so.
All right.
Okay. I think it's going to be about one person in love with another person, and the addition of that equals two.
Okay.
There are two people.
Makes sense.
Lovers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be about a guy whose dad has a mom. No, I mean has a wife. Everybody has a mom. All right. I'm not a lot of medications, so leave me be. So his dad has two lovers.
Oh, okay.
And he's a bad dad.
Yeah. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Why isn't he at home taking care of his wife with brain cancer?
Speaking of bad dads, Lost City of Z next week, guys.
Woo!
All right. Well,
and Shannon, you're going to be back for that, right?
Reluctantly so.
Wow. Wow.
I'm getting real Tobias and the Whale energy off of Shannon.
Hey, that was going to be my line.
Oh boy, strap in.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some. I don't think the end of it. Shannon's going to say, "I love you."
I love you too.
Way too enthusiastic to be like, I love you.
I love you too.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good Joaquin.
You know what that makes us
Good mark.
together? Together, that makes us flash gorgeous.
Flash gorgeous.
I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you.
Flash gorgeous.
I don't want to hear about you, I want to hear from you.
It's 10-4.
10-4, old buddies. Destroy, kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you strayed from the formula.
You bastards! In case you don't know it, Bob, I'm an artist. And I must reflect that in my rhyme.
Actually,
What? In a James Gray movie?
Oh, yeah.
I wrote down grief barf. Show me.
I'm not going to carry drugs on me to a drug den.
The whispery bummer stylings of James Gray.
Who do you want me to fuck up?